Even when you feel low, even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when
Okay. Sorry about that. I have trouble sometimes hitting that off, and it just keeps wanting to keep going. Hello, Karen, and hello, Harold. How y'all doing tonight? I'm going to give it just a minute, and then we'll get started. Tonight is going to be the first time I've tried to share my screen and play a video that isn't my own video. It's actually from the American Cancer Society. So I'm hoping that that is going to play okay. I've been trying to try it out, but without actually going live, I can't actually see how it shows on the screen. Hello, Dino. Welcome in, or Dino, I guess they call you. Hey, how are you doing? So anyway, we will try, and if it plays on the screen, that'll be great. And if it doesn't, then I'll just maybe play the audio on it. We'll have to see. This presentation about colorectal cancer and colonoscopies is because it's the second cancer killer, and it's also one that is not real symptomatic, and people usually don't have the early screenings for it, and therefore it's almost a silent killer. So I really wanted to bring some awareness to that. You know, I'm doing okay. I hope you're well as well. Okay, looks like we have 6 people watching. Give it just a couple more minutes. Everybody can come in and get their popcorn and their coffee or soda and have a seat. I think we all know someone who's been touched by cancer of one kind or another. My dad died of lung cancer. His was caused by asbestos. He was a pipe fitter, and he worked. Hey, Amy, how are you? He worked in a lot of old churches and old schools, doing a lot of remodeling back when they used the asbestos for the installation, and they had to tear it all out and redo everything. And so he ended up getting the lung cancer from that, and he didn't even know it until it was already to the point that he had to lose one of his lungs, and then ended up dying from a complication from the surgery where he got a blood clot in the chest cavity where they had removed the lung, and it went directly to his heart and kind of exploded his heart. So that was a very bad way to die. But the cancer had spread. And Miss Karen says her mom had colon cancer and she is a survivor. See, if it's caught early enough and they can do the treatment, you can survive it. It's just that so many people don't like getting the colonoscopy done. And there's also some like fecal blood tests that you can do that can determine whether or not you have cancer cells in your blood. And they do it like a stool sample testing, but it's not as definitive as the colonoscopy. Okay, let me see if I'm going to be able to share this screen.
My name is Vanessa, and I'm 49 years old.
My name is Ben. I'm 52 years old.
So for years, our daughter has begged us to get screened for colorectal cancer. Also, our doctor has told us to get screened. But
with the
with
world,
being the way it is,
we
we just kept putting it off.
I mean,
We're both in perfect health.
Our
Our
families
have no history of colorectal cancer.
And
quite frankly,
I was busy with work and family. And it just wasn't a priority for me.
I was a little different. I put my mouth because I was scared. Would it hurt? What if they found something? What if I had cancer? And honestly, I was uncomfortable. To me, the thought of having someone check cancer in my colon or rectum was embarrassing.
The subject is kind of gross, right? I mean,
It
who
was
wants to do with who?
Recently, I found out a good friend of mine has colon cancer. After watching him go through treatment, I thought hard about the reasons I was afraid. I realized there were nothing compared to the fear of being told that I had an advanced cancer that was hard to treat. Colon cancer is curable if caught early.
She helped us overcome our concerns by giving us detailed information about why regular colorectal cancer screening is so important. We also learned about the different ways we could choose to get screened.
Mine was not. I ended up having polyps in my colon.
Increase as you get older. Your risk climbs sharply starting at around age 45 and continues to increase as you age. Colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in the US, but it is often preventable. Regular screening gives you the power to help keep colorectal cancer out of your life. Colorectal cancer screening tests can often identify signs of cancers or other problems that might become cancer before a person has any symptoms. This is a polyp. If the screening test finds a polyp, it can be removed to prevent cancer from occurring in the first place. There are several colorectal cancer screening options available. Finding the screening test that's right for you can help you prevent colorectal cancer altogether, or help save your life by finding it early. Colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in the US, and these screening tests can be life-saving preventive tests. Talk to your doctor about your risk for colorectal cancer and the screening test and schedule that is right for you.
Our daughter is expecting her first baby soon.
Show the picture.
I can't imagine not being here for my grandchild's life. I'm so glad I got screened.
Even if you think you're not at risk, if you're 45 or older, make the decision to get screened for colorectal cancer. It could save your life.
To learn more about colorectal cancer screening, go to cancer.org/colon-cancer.
Okay, Sorry about the technical difficulties in the beginning. Like I said, tonight was the first night I was going to try to play a video that did not belong to myself. That is a video straight from the American Cancer Society website. And I do have a second one to play in just a little bit about the colonoscopy itself. I'm going to try now to play my video, or my presentation actually. See how this one goes. Okay. Colon cancer and colorectal cancer. It's basically the same thing. One is more in the rectum and the other one is more in the colon. This is cancer that starts in the colon or the rectum. Cancer starts when the cells in our body start to grow out of control. Our colons are muscular tubes about 5 feet long. Colon or rectal cancers start out as polyps or growths in the interlining of the colon or rectum. What are the risk factors for colon or rectal cancer? Now, these are just the major risk factors. There are other risk factors for all cancers. Being overweight, not being physically active, having a diet high in red meat, smoking, drinking alcohol, being 50 or older, having a previous history of polyps, having inflammatory bowel disease, or having family history of colon cancer. Also, the early detection and diagnosis and staging. Regular screenings can even prevent colorectal cancer. It can take a polyp 10 to 15 years to develop into cancer. With a colonoscopy, polyps can be removed before they turn into cancer. Screenings include the stool-based tests are a possible choice in early detection. These are tests to check for occult or hidden blood in the stool and the stool DNA tests. Also, you can have a visual structural exam, which includes the colonoscopy and a CAT scan, virtual colonoscopy as well. The staging of the cancer describes how much cancer is in the body. It helps to determine how serious the cancer is. The TNM system, which stands for tumor, nodes, and metastasis, is the system that's used to tell the size of the tumor, has it spread to any nearby lymph nodes, and has it metastasized or has it spread to other organs in the body. The pathologist will determine the exact value of the TNM scale for your tumor. So during a colonoscopy, the polyps can be removed and then staged. The colorectal cancer treatment is based largely on the stage of the tumor. Most common treatments include removal of the affected area, followed by chemotherapy. Okay, so that is the end of my slides. And now I want to attempt to play this other video, and I'm going to mute myself, so hopefully it does not echo.
Colonoscopy is used to detect early growths called polyps in the colon. These polyps or growths start in the lining of the mucosa. That's the covering of the colon, which starts from the anus or the rectum and extends all the way to the cecum, which is the beginning of where the small intestine dumps your food for it to be transported out as feces. This feces blocks our view, so before showing up for your appointment, it's very important that you follow the directions provided for your bowel preparation. Bowel preparation is an electrolyte solution along with some medications that allow your body to purge or to have a diarrhea. It's very important when you take this solution that you drink it all and follow the directions provided by your pharmacist and also physician, because without being able to clean out appropriately, colonoscopy is used to detect early growths called polyps in the colon. These polyps or growths start in the lining of the mucosa. That's the covering of the colon, which is one thing you need to do before.
Welcome to the Anatomy Lab, everybody. In today's video, we're going to use a cadaver brain to discuss seizures. We'll talk about the difference between seizures and epilepsy.
That's the covering of the colon, which starts from the anus or the rectum and extends all the way to the cecum, which is the beginning of where the small intestine dumps your food for it to be transported out as feces. This feces blocks our view, so before showing up for your appointment, it's very important that you follow the directions provided for your bowel preparation. Bowel preparation is an electrolyte solution along with some medications that allow your body to purge or to have a diarrhea. It's very important when you take this solution that you drink it all and follow the directions provided by your pharmacist and also physician, because without being able to clean out appropriately, your doctor, your gastroenterologist will not have the opportunity to see the colon well to detect these early and sometimes very small polyps that can lead to cancer. After adequate bowel preparation, you would present to a facility in which an intravenous or IV will be placed for medications and also for fluids, along with the potential of an anesthesiologist or also a nurse that will provide medications for sedation. In many centers, this is done with medications that put you in a twilight or light sleep. We call that moderate sedation. And in other facilities, we also do this with a more deep anesthetic called propofol, which allows you to sleep during your procedure without being uncomfortable. It's important in order to see in this colon that we use a long lighted tube along with air and sometimes CO2 to open up the colon so that we can see all of the walls. If a doctor identifies a polyp in your colon, it is possible to remove this by a number of ways. The most common way is to use a biopsy forceps, which is very small, or larger polyps can be removed with a snare loop. It's a small wire that can be placed around the polyp and then removed by clipping it either with electricity to burn it at its base, or to just essentially chop that polyp away from the colon wall. This provides a very safe and effective way to remove and to take away any colorectal polyps or cancers that may be found during a colonoscopy. There's another test in addition to a colonoscopy that allows complete evaluation of the colon, which is termed a CT colonography or CTC. This entails continuing to drink a PrEP, but it does not associate itself with any risks associated with sedation. This is something that can be done by a radiologist and also evaluate polyps throughout the colon. If something was found during those tests, the recommendation for those patients are to undergo a complete colonoscopy for removal of any polyps that are identified. We know that with the use of colorectal cancer screening and also direct viewing of the colon with colonoscopy, that we've decreased the incidence and the impact of colorectal cancer. So it's very important that you and your loved ones talk about the need for screening and also adhere to the surveillance protocol set forth by your doctors after you've been screened.
Okay, well, let me see. Let me stop sharing. Now that I finally got it to work, yay! I am so sorry, y'all. I'm the queen of technical difficulty. I I wanted the information I presented to y'all tonight to be accurate, and that's why I went to the American Cancer Society's webpage. They actually have where you can enter any kind of cancer, and it will pull up a ton of information, including videos. And so it is very educational, and it's true fact. I mean, American Cancer Society is one of the number one health-related organizations of this country. Amy, what are we talking about in chat? Something about kombucha, and it's some kind of a drink. It does not have caffeine in it, but she says it will keep you cleaned out. Maybe Amy can explain more about what it is in a few minutes. We'll open up the panel, and anybody who wants to come up and talk is more than welcome to do so. We all have loved ones who may be in that age group of 50 and above who need to have a colonoscopy, or at least to have the other test, the CT scan of the colon done, just as a preventative measure. I've had mine done, and they found 2 polyps, and one was completely benign and okay, and the other one was already precancerous. And so I have to go now every 5 years and have another colonoscopy done. like it said in the information, it takes it 10 to 15 years to turn into cancer. So early detection is the key. And if you have the colonoscopy and they find anything, they go ahead and remove it right there and then. There is no hospital stay. There is no additional prep that you have to go through or anything like that. And you just basically get it all done in one procedure. As they talked about, they do give you some anesthetic. It's not a complete anesthetic to knock you out completely, but it's enough of a twilight type thing that I didn't remember any of my procedure. I remember them talking to me before the doctor came into the room, and that's all basically I had. Hello, Miss Brenda. Miss Brenda said she had the CAT scan 2 years ago. Okay, then, see, you can have that CAT scan done. And if they don't find anything in the CAT scan, they probably wouldn't find anything in the colonoscopy, from what I understood the gentleman to say in the video. So as long as you have one type or another to have the screening done, and you can even do the occult blood test, and that will help to find out whether or not there is any blood that you're not maybe seeing. So I guess we're saying that whatever this was, Amy was talking about, was a prebiotic. Okay. Miss Karen is saying something else that's good to have done is a colonic. And I'm assuming that's kind of like a cleaning out enema type situation. I'm going to go ahead and drop this link, and maybe Karen, Brenda, or Amy would like to come up and we can discuss it further. Okay. And I can remove this. Because it is always easier to talk about things when it's like you're talking to a friend instead of just up here talking. Hello, Miss Karen.
Hi. Colonic is a hydrotherapy thing. It's they actually, you can take 10 to 30 pounds of stagnant fecal matter out of you.
Wow.
That dries along the walls. You can lose a lot of weight having it done.
So what
I have
explain it to us, the procedure.
Okay. I have what's called lazy colon.
Okay.
And I've had a lot of problems with my colon through the years. So I was backed up one time, literally 30 days. They were going to put me in the hospital and actually put the tube up my nose and down into my intestines and pull it out. And I went into a fit. There was no way that was going to happen. So, and what happens is if you don't empty your bowels, it goes into your blood system. And you could put on a lot of weight, blah, blah, blah. So my aunt looked into this, what else could you do? And she found out it was colonics. So we found somebody up here in my area that does it. So I went, and what you do is you literally lay on a table, and they take and it's nothing like an enema, because I couldn't hold an enema for 2 seconds, forget it.
Right.
And it's a little something that they put in you, in your little tiny hole. And it flushes. Now, what I'm about to say is, let me finish before you go, oh, hell no, because that's what I did. Oh, hell to the no, I can't hold a enema.
Right.
It's like 500 to 1,000 gallons of water. Slowly. It goes in, and the machine guards up to a pressure, releases, and it flushes back out. What it does is it softens the colon, the inside of the colon. A lot of people do this as a prep before a colonoscopy instead of the harsh chemicals.
Oh, okay.
And they keep doing it back and forth, and the pressure gauge goes up and it goes back down. And when I tell you scared, I was scared because I was looking at going into the hospital.
Yeah, I see you.
Or, I
don't know why it won't let me unmute you. Just a second.
I was so sick because I did the colonoscopy medication, and I started vomiting because that's how impacted I was. So my next step was either that or try the colonics. So it wasn't as bad as it sounds. It's a very relaxing thing that this does. And when I tell you you don't even realize it's happening. And you do go through this tube. You don't even know you're going. So I had to do that for a maintenance of 3 months. I lost 15 pounds in 2 days.
Wow. Hello, Purple. Hello, Miss Brenda.
So after you do this, you do a maintenance every 3 months. At the time, it was $250. Insurance does not pay for it.
Okay, but so basically what you're saying is that they use a low water pressure and it kind of softens everything and slowly lets it to come back out.
Yeah, because
it's
people
not
don't
like
realize
taking a water hose and squirting it up your butt. I mean, it's not.
Well, yeah, and no, you can want. I guess there's probably a thing on a colonics, a hydrotherapy thing.
Okay.
But it really does. It takes 10 to 30 pounds of stagnant fecal matter. People don't realize whether you go every day or you don't, it dries along the walls of your colon. And a lot of that, believe it or not, through time, you realize, because my mother, like I said, had colon cancer, that will build up the polyps, that will build up cancer in your colon. Because people go, oh no, I'm going every day, or I go 3 times a day, I'm fine. But they don't realize it dries up along the colon walls.
Right. And that's why they say too that, the shape and amount of your poop can tell you a lot about what's going on in your body as well.
Yeah, they say that, but that's not necessarily true.
That's what I was going to say is if you're only going, a little tiny narrow amount, then it probably is, accumulated in there.
Yeah, but even I found that not to be true either. Even if they say it's supposed to be picture perfect, you're still never empty fully like you're supposed to. It still dries along the colon walls, no matter what. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So colonics, believe it or not, I learned from my gastroenterologist. He said that this goes way back, and a lot of the rich and famous do it. They did it for losing weight, of course, but it is very, very healthy to do. It flushes out all the toxins out of your body. And it's safer to do because it's not harsh chemicals coming through your body that you have to use to eliminate to go do the things.
Right.
I remember, for instance, talking to my husband's gastroenterologist last year about this. I said, I used to go for colonics. He says, you don't anymore? I said, no, it got very expensive. He says, well, I suggest you cut back on whatever you got to cut back to do at least maintenance, even if it's twice a year, he told me.
Wow.
Yes.
So it's that important.
Oh, yeah. Because it's not harsh. You are literally, it's kind of like, like things growing on your house and you clean it. You're getting all of that gunk out of your intestines, which leaks in eventually into your bloodstream, into your liver, into your kidneys. It all gets in there.
Right.
Whether you're going every single day. I mean, like my husband, he went 3 times a day. It was normal. He had his colonoscopy 2 years and 10 months before that. There was not a polyp in him. By the time they caught it, it was stage 4, 46 days later. So,
Karen, I didn't realize that it was colon cancer.
Yeah.
Took your husband. I am so sorry.
Yeah. So, believe me,
this has got to be terribly, terribly uncomfortable for you right now.
No, I'm okay talking about it because people need to realize the one that, Sloan Kettering, when my mother had colon cancer, okay? The going on in the bowl and sending it out is not accurate. It's not accurate, guys.
Yeah.
The CAT scan is not accurate, guys. If you want to be accurate, you go for the colonoscopy, because it's like anything else. You're looking in a dark hole. You want to go. They go in with a camera. They see it. They take it, a piece of it, and they send it out.
Right.
There's nothing to it. I've had them a long time. The prep is the worst because you can't eat and you're running in and out of the bathroom. We've all had, I'm going to be blunt. We've all had diarrhea in our lives. It didn't kill us.
Right.
So you have
Exactly.
diarrhea and you can't eat the day before. You go in, they put you, they give you a little IV, they put you to sleep, you wake up, I swear to God, you're like, did you do it yet? That's how fast it is. It's done.
I didn't even realize, like I said, I fell asleep while they were still hooking up the IV and talking to the doctor, and and
Yeah,
then
it's done.
I woke up, I was back in the room, and
Yeah, like you did. Well, I've done it where it's like you did it already. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
the
shocked
only
it
way
went
you're
that.
going to make sure that you're 100% is get the colonoscopy. And I'm going to be blunt, and you're not going to like it. Don't chicken shit out and go do the box and mail in. Don't do the CAT scan. Go and get it done. Like I just said, my husband had it 2 years and 10 months prior. There wasn't a polyp. Okay? And according to him, the new guidelines, the insurance don't want to pay for it. It's every 2 years now. Not every 5, not every 3. It's every 2. And the insurance companies don't want to pay for it because that's how fast it grows.
Welcome back, Brenda. I don't know what happened.
Every 2 years.
No, it was my phone. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Every 2 years. He goes, yes, it's every 2 years because colon cancer is so high right now. And I said, because it used to be every 5.
Right.
And then
That's what they told me
a
couple years ago.
Down to every 3. So he said, no, it's every 2 years. He said, insurance companies don't want it. He said, but you fight them, they have to pay it.
Well, especially like in my case, they already removed a precancerous polyp, so they should definitely pay for me to have it done again.
Every 2 years. Now, the prep is it's Gatorade with Miralax. You pour the powder in that big Gatorade thing. You drink it. You take 2 Dogalax. All right. So it's like having diarrhea. You run into the bathroom. What's the big deal? Take your iPhone, take a book, and sit in the freaking bathroom and shit your brains out. It's better than being told what my husband was told.
Well, exactly. I mean, anything is better than having it take your life.
Well, that's what it did. It was stage 4. There was no cure.
And as bad as that prep is, the test is nothing. The prep is way worse than the test. And I felt fine
the prep
afterwards.
is really not that bad. People have had stomach bugs where they should, they get diarrhea.
That's
Really.
right.
Come on now.
But Karen, I do apologize. I knew he had passed.
No. I came here. I knew what this was about.
I knew you were very passionate on this subject. I just
and my mother had it.
That was why.
3.5 feet out of her intestines, but she didn't need the bag. So you know what? And she's a survivor. That was in. Oh my God! My father died in 1994 of May, and my mother was diagnosed in October of 1994. And then 3 years to the day almost, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she's a survivor of that.
My goodness. She is a tough lady.
Yeah.
Yes, she is.
So you know what? Don't put shit off, people. Just go and have it done.
Well, I know when you mentioned the CAT scan, I remember when I went
Not
in.
accurate, Brenda.
Well, when I went in, my bowels were not working right. My pee nothing was working right. My bladder was all screwed up. And it was because of all the anorexia and everything that came with my anxiety. I stopped eating. I was eating very little. So when I had gone in, I was put in and they couldn't find anything. And this doctor come around the corner and he says, I have this new machine that I can see all the way into your, the lining of your lower intestine, into your bowel, He said, and we can check and see if we can find anything. He said, do you mind before you leave? And I said, no. So he laid me down on the bed, pulled up my stomach, put some gel on it, and I could see the screen. You know, it was a portable unit. I could see the screen. He went over and he said, yeah, he said, you have a swollen bladder. He said, your bladder is enlarged. He said, does that run in your family? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I've never heard of anybody talk about it. And then he went down and he went around into the upper and then into the lower intestine. There was nothing because I thought I had a blockage. That's what I thought. And it took him about 30 to 45 minutes. The different angles that he did, going up and down, side to side. Then he rolled me on my side. He did all different angles of this ultrasound, and they said everything was clear, everything was fine. You know, there was nothing that was going on down in that area. You know, and there was no pain. You know, because it's just like having an ultrasound when you have your, you know, your baby. You know, it's the same thing. The little thing was cold that he put on my belly, you know, and this was a brand new instrument that he had just received the day before. So he was excited to be able to use it on someone that had that type of an issue, you know, and he brought it right up and did it, and he did it right away, you know. And that was after all they kept saying was, we'll do an x-ray. Then they did the dye one, you know, where I laid on the table and they put the dye inside of you, and you got to lay with a wet face cloth around your neck, and you lay back, and the dye goes through your stomach, and they take all these different shots of different sides of you, and this because they couldn't figure out what was wrong. They had no idea, you know, and it was because I was not eating. You don't eat, you do not shit. Period.
Look, I'm
Exactly.
going to tell you
They
a
were
story,
telling
and I
me.
can't tell you're a
You know?
family member. I can't mention the person's name. He
Huh?
was a family member of mine, very close to me.
Yeah.
Said she didn't had all the blood work, all the everything, and said she didn't have cancer, and she wanted this thing out of her.
Yeah.
Why have it out of you? You don't have cancer. Had all of it done, everything. She opted to have this thing taken out of her, and it was cancer.
Wow.
You don't know anything. Sonograms, blood work, the whole 9 yards. They don't know nothing until you are actually you see it with your own 2 eyes.
Well, that's what the scan did. I mean, the
No, it
scan
did no. The scan does shit until they're in there with a scope.
Well, see, I had
The
that
same
done.
thing with my husband. They didn't see it till they went in with the colonoscopy because they thought it wasn't as bad as it was when they went in and they said, "Oh, it's stage 4."
Yeah.
Big difference, Brenda.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It is a difference. But see, my insurance won't cover another test for colonoscopy or anything until the 2 years are up, because they only do it once every 2 years.
Well, the colonoscopy is different than a CAT scan, Brenda.
I understand, but it's all in that same form of testing. Just
She's
like
saying for her insurance.
I couldn't go and get 2 different or 2 of the same tests or 2 close tests in the same time. I had to wait. You know,
Yeah,
just like
if you were having an issue, your doctor could probably write a letter to your insurance company and get that waived. But if you're not having any issue, they,
yeah,
you know,
see, I'm
he
not
might not
having
want
any
to do
issue
that.
right now. I
Because
was then.
my doctors had to write to my insurance company for different medications because over the years there's been different medications that the insurance didn't want to cover.
Yeah,
and they would always say, well, you know, find something else. And sometimes there isn't something else that works as well as the one your doctor wants you to be on. And sometimes your insurance has to still cover you for that.
Yep, they
So,
do.
you know, I think if somebody is having an issue and they've had a test done recently, they still go to their doctor and their doctor can work with the insurance and try to get it done. But even if you have to pay out of pocket, you know, if it's a matter of life and death, it's well worth, you know, doing that.
Definitely. Now, see, I haven't had any issues since then.
Right.
Once I
Well,
started
God
eating,
bless. God bless you. And I hope you don't have any.
once there was food in my stomach, because that was the whole issue. It was part of my anxiety. I went through what's called the anorexic part um of anxiety, which you don't want to eat because your stomach hurts every time you eat. You eat a
Okay.
little bit, your stomach hurts, and then you stop. And then you eat a little bit, your stomach hurts, and then you stop. I could only eat so much food. So I thought I had a blockage. That's
I
why I
see.
went into the ER. You
Okay.
know,
Well, that
I
makes
was
sense.
scared to death. I didn't know what it was,
Right.
you know? And so I know I had that test done. When you mentioned it, I had both. I had the one with the dye that goes through the stomach, and they take all those pictures and they put the face cloth because it makes your
Hot.
body run hot, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I had that one done. Then I got up and then I was going back to the floor. The guy was wheeling me back and he said, Dr. So and so, he's a specialist in colonoscopy, colon, and this and this and this. He wants to meet with you. And I said, okay, well, I'll be in the room. I'm not going nowhere. I still had the bag of ID,
Right. Right.
that I was pulling with me. And because I felt dehydrated, I really felt like I wasn't getting enough food, no matter how much water I drank, I wasn't getting enough, you know. So I went through the whole 9 yards with that. And my
Wow.
husband can tell you I was scared.
Does anybody
And
in your family ever have colon cancer?
nope.
No, okay.
The only one I know that
Nobody
had
in
it,
my mother's family did but she wound up with it.
my ex-husband had it and he had his colon removed. He
Mhm.
is on a bag. He's gone 10 years on a
Yeah.
bag. He just recently had his port removed
Yeah.
because they don't think he has any more cancer. And I'm praying to God it stays that way, because even
Yeah.
though we're exes, it doesn't mean I have to hate him.
No.
Um,
No.
so, yeah, he's the only one. And nobody on my side ever had it at all on either side. Both were heart and diabetes. Need nothing more.
Yeah.
Um, But so when you had mentioned that, that's when it brought back the memory of the test that I had when I was so scared and I
Well,
couldn't
you
eat.
should still see if they'll do it because I don't think it's considered the same test, honey.
Yeah, I will. I'll talk to my doctor about it, like I said, and I'll find out, if he says
Because
it's something.
they're two different types.
Right, right. I definitely will. I promised you I would, and I will. You
Mhm.
know, like I said, I know I had those tests done just for my peace of mind. I
Right.
couldn't think of there being a block. And everybody kept saying, Brenda, if you get a block in your stomach, puke, poop is gonna come out through your mouth. You're
Oh.
gonna vomit. And I was like,
Yeah, you can
oh,
vomit it up.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, I can't even deal with this. I've got to go. I got to.
Hmm.
She put
Either
me in a
it comes
safe
up
hand.
that way or it explodes and gets into your bloodstream and you die.
Right, it can do that as
Right.
well.
Mhm.
And that it scared me, because I didn't know what it was. So
My
I wanted it.
mom, she's had two bowel blockages, had to be hospitalized, and I don't know how they did it, but they were able to clean her out. But she takes a lot of medication that I guess hardens in the colon, like it
Yeah.
isn't digested really well in
Mhm.
the small intestine, and so by the time it gets into the colon, it kind of just sits there,
Like
and
Right,
cement.
right.
it causes her to end up getting kind
It
of.
would benefit her to get colonics.
Yeah, it would.
You know.
But now with
And
my
there's always
dad's.
so many different things that they talk about coming out that's brand new, you
Right.
know. My husband's doctor's been trying to get him to get his for the past 5 years. They have sent at least 3 of those packages from the VA and now from his regular doctor to do the poop thing and send in. He goes, I don't know how to do that. I said, read the instructions and do it.
No.
It's the best thing you can do. At least you'll know if they find some early enough, So I'm not
It doesn't really
denying
show
that.
the polyp. Most of the time when that picks it up, it's too late.
Well, it'll show if there's any blood. And that's what this is supposed to do.
Right. But you could probably bleed without having cancer, but you could also not bleed and have cancer.
Now look at my cousin. She had it. They told her to do the home tests, which she did. She mailed it in, and they called her in to do a colonoscopy. Well, she drank as much as she could before she started vomiting. All right, so they stopped it. A month later, she had a cancer in her lungs. So it had nothing to do with her lower body, but it must have showed somewhere that it was bleeding from somewhere, So yeah, I mean, I've had a fair share of experiences and a little bit of knowledge when it came to the CAT scan, the one that they do when you lay down with the dye, and that new one that they did, which was brand new. I can't even remember the exact name of it, but it was a small machine that he wheeled to the bed, and he checked every organ. He said, I can even see down into your uterus and look to see if there's any growths in your uterus. He said, that's how good this machine is, And he did and found nothing there as well, So I was kind of glad I got it done. I was scared, but I was glad that it finally got done. But yeah, it's kind of a freaky thing to deal with to begin with,
Yeah.
Well, with my dad's lung cancer, they did that PET scan before he had his operation, and that is supposed to, it's supposed to check your entire body, all your organs and everything. They told him he didn't have cancer anywhere but that one lung. So he had the surgery, and they removed his whole lung. And then within 3 months, he got a big blood clot in that chest cavity where the lung was removed, and that went to his heart and kind of exploded his heart. That's what killed him. But when they did the, I guess, autopsy or whatever, he had cancer everywhere, every organ, in his blood, in his bones. I mean, he had it everywhere. It had just spread everywhere like wildfire. And so even though the blood clot's what killed him, he would have died from the cancer itself in no time.
Right.
But
better it be a blood clot, because that's quick and fast.
Right.
Than having to go through the other suffering,
Right. But he only knew he had cancer for 3 months before he passed away. And they did chemotherapy. They did radiation therapy on him. He had a tumor on his spine, so he couldn't walk. He had brain tumors to where he didn't know who he was or where he was at or anything like that. I mean, it ravaged that man. He weighed like close to 200 pounds, was 6'1". And when he passed away, I think he weighed less than 150 pounds. And he was like in the fetal position in the bed, just nothing but skin and bones. Even though it was only 3 months, he fought all he could fight, and he suffered to the point that I was so glad. I wasn't glad he was gone, but I was glad it was over, because that fight was just too hard on my dad.
We lost. It can be very devastating,
Yeah,
it can be.
I mean,
it's
cancer used to be, people would say somebody had cancer, you just pretty well assumed it was a death sentence. That they weren't going to survive it. Now there's all kinds of things that they can do. And if you catch it early enough, there's a lot of people walking around that have had cancer once, twice, and survived it. And that's...
Well, I know my ex-husband has had it 5 times in 10 years. They've had to go back in, remove whatever it was that was in there, and it'd start up again on the chemo. And it's been 10 years of a long road, but they finally took the port out, and he'll never be able to have the bag removed. That's just, that's there permanently.
Right. But then again, what it's the, the choice. Better to live with a bag than to have died. So,
right, exactly. And that was the choice he made, and I was kind of scared for him, hearing about, people that have had the bag and the bad reactions or the complications that come along with it, where they've had to remove something else and take something out, put something in. And he had stones to boot,
yeah. I
also
mean,
kidney
there's
stones.
all kinds of complications, and I'm
Yeah,
just thankful
yeah.
for medical advancements,
Yes.
in the technology, to where now there's so many things that they can do. I'm not saying that it's any easier to fight it, and
No, it isn't. It isn't. It's
most of the
hard.
treatments are very, very damaging to your body. And I mean, I can remember my dad, just hating to have his chemo done and stuff like that. So it's a terrible, terrible thing. But I wanted to have the discussion because I do feel like we're living in a society since COVID that people don't want to talk about things that
Certain
they need
things.
to take care of. Yeah. You
Exactly.
know,
Exactly.
it doesn't matter, what kind of the problems you have yourself, but think about things. There are certain things that you should check at certain ages
Right.
as we age. And, get your
Hey,
mammogram
hey,
done,
hey.
have a colonoscopy done. Miss Carol is talking about her husband had stage 4, was late in getting it diagnosed. He's
Right.
got a colostomy bag now.
Right.
He
Right.
was in 2 months after having the operation for the bag with infection. See, and he probably will, Miss Carol. He probably will. It will always be something he's got to keep a check on, because
Yes.
that's not a normal thing for our body to have to do the function in that way. And so it is going to be something that he's going to be, just more susceptible to infections and to other problems.
Yeah, my husband can't. He's so careful with everything, and he's a germaphobe to begin with. So, if he knows something's going on outside or going around, he stays indoors where like when COVID came around, he stayed indoors. He didn't go anywhere. That was my ex-husband. I think I said my ex-husband, but he made it through. He'd go for his appointments, go directly home. He wouldn't stick around.
Yeah.
Um, where he used to love to talk, so that must have been pretty hard for him to begin with.
Right.
But we all went up as a family. Michael, my husband now, and my kids. And that was right after the bag was put on there, because he was pretty scared. So we all rallied around for support and tried to help him, and that's all you can really do, is send prayers, give them the best wishes, be there, listen. And there's times where he'll call me and he'll say, well, in the beginning, he was saying they found another spot. And he said, it's in the lung and it hasn't grown and it's been there for 3 years. So he was kind of hopeful that wouldn't, because his sister died of the lung cancer,
Mm-hmm. And
so.
that's another thing. Most cancer always goes somewhere. Like if they treat, say, they treat your lungs, it can also go to your brain. It can go to your bones. If it's in your colon, it can go to your lungs. So a lot of times people make it through that initial cancer
Right.
diagnosis and treatment. And
And
then
they say they're cured. That's what gets me, is they say they're cured. They say, there's no cancer. And they ring the bell and then they let them go home. Because that's what my sister-in-law did. And then it went from her lung to her brain. And at that point, there wasn't much that they could do. It was inoperable. And so she ended up about 3 months in hospice, and then she finally let go. I went over there and I told her, Janie, it's okay. She kept saying, Brenda, I'm so tired. I am just so tired. I says, it's okay, Janie. You can let go. Everybody here is fine, And she had a hard time letting go. She really did, And they had her on the morphine so high. The last time I saw her, she didn't know anybody was there, really, I mean, which is understandable considering the morphine, But, I mean, a lot of, like, Michael had tried doing the test at home, and he started to feel very, very ill. And they told him to stop because, huh? You didn't get it done. Oh, he said dinner's done. Okay. I thought he said he got it done.
Oh. Yeah, Carol, that's bad. She said her husband made it the 4.5 years, and they say if you go 5 years, you're probably okay. And he made it 4.5 years after that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's.
I do feel like it's something that people are, kind of afraid to even talk about anymore.
Exactly.
And that causes you undue stress.
It does.
Because you're not able to get some of those situations, worked out in your mind and get that off of you so that you don't have to walk around carrying that stress.
Right.
And I've been finding out a lot how much stress affects other diseases that we might have, like the diabetes that I have. Let's see if we can get Miss Karen back up here.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. Karen, is that copyrighted? Do you think I can play it? Hello? Well, she said she was having trouble, but I don't think she can hear me. Karen?
Yeah, I had with my phone.
She fell off again. Okay. She sent me a video about the colonic that she was talking about, but I don't know if I can.
About colonics, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not monetized, so it probably wouldn't bother if I did play it. But I'm not sure. Let me see what that says.
Okay, well, my dinner's done here, so I'm just gonna.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop the cam, put you on mute. I'll be listening.
Okay.
And as soon as I'm done, I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, maybe Miss Karen will try to come back up. But she sent me the video for the about the colonic. We'll see if we can get it pulled up. Maybe we can show it. But anyway, like I was saying, stress has so much to do with how you feel overall and your overall health. It can cause, depression, anxiety. It can make your diabetes worse. It can make any other problem that you might have worse, just simply because you put that added stress on your body. I'm going to probably do a talk about stress in general and probably relate it back to how it does with the diabetes in the future. And I hope that's what I'll be able to do on my channel. It won't always be medical stuff. It will be other issues too that we face as humans every day in our everyday lives. But I do want to concentrate on some of the issues that are important for those of us that are 60 and over. I think we have worked our time in our lives. By the time we get into our 60s, we're thinking about retirement. We've pretty much worked a job most of our adult life. We've had our children. We've raised our children. Most of us have grandchildren that we are enjoying in our older age. But there's still a lot of life left for us as individuals, as couples. And I want to focus on those kind of things. I'm going to do a whole series on retirement, what you should do, how you should plan for your retirement. What if you didn't save up enough money? How you can live not extravagantly by any means, but how you can live pretty good on retirement if you do it right. I I want to bring that kind of information because a lot of people like me, I ended up actually retiring from my job when I was 52, 53. I got hurt at work. I ended up becoming disabled. I got hurt, not at work, at home. I became disabled because my work would not allow me to go back to work. And so I was on disability from my job. Eventually I got on the Social Security disability, and I've been on that ever since. I had to learn how to be retired while all my friends still worked and while all my friends had their health and could go and do things and have a fun life. And here I was disabled and thought my life was just about over. Well, I'm here to tell you at 60, life is not over. We have a long life to live. And hopefully we'll make it into our 80s, 90s even. I want to get there, and I want to help everybody else be able to get there as well. Things that we take for granted, like taking care of ourselves. I'm trying to learn that. How to love myself enough to take care of myself. And that's a very difficult thing to do. I want to emphasize on all of you to please put yourself as a priority in your life. Do what you do for others, for yourself. Take time out to be with yourself, to be totally by yourself. Find hobbies that you can do and enjoy on your own without anyone else. Because one day you wake up and everybody else is gone. They've moved on, they've moved out, they have their own lives, whatever the case may be. And you are home by yourself. And then what do you do? I have had hours and hours and hours of time to fill with nothing to do. Now I have a precious little granddaughter that keeps me busy for about 10 hours a day. But I still have more time to fill. I have time in the evenings. I have time on the weekends. It's one reason why I'm here on YouTube. I started out as a subscriber. I started out just watching other people. Found out that I kind of like YouTube, and I kind of like to talk to people and get to know people. And I want to get to know people in other countries, and I want to see their countries, and I want to learn how their life is different from mine. Not just other countries, other ethnic groups, just other nationalities, other religions. I'm just interested in life and in people. And I want to find out everything I can find out. I want to experience as much as I can experience in the time that I have. Yes, Trouble. It is a great community, and I want to be a part of it. I don't want to do drama. I don't want to do the fussing and fighting. I'll talk about how fussing and fighting and stress damages us. I just don't want to talk about how it does individually to people when other people are mean. But I will talk about bullying. I will talk about almost any topic that anybody is interested in. And you can find my email in the About section. You can email me privately. Tell me what you'd like to see, what you'd like me to research and do a program on. I'd be more than happy to do that. Okay, Amy. Well, thank you for coming and supporting. And I know you'd come up on panel if you could. Thank you so much. Some of you might have heard on one of my other lives, I needed to get a different car. So my daughter and my extended family members up in South Carolina have been working to find me a car. And while we were on this broadcast, I got a text message that said, my car is sitting in their driveway. So that means I will be going this weekend. I will be leaving Sunday morning and coming back on Monday, and I will have my car. I'm sorry, Karen, that it's acting up. I figured when you couldn't hear me, it was acting up. Anyway, so this is a car. It's not new. It's not brand new, but it's new to me. And I will not have a car payment. They are taking care of that for me. I will get much better gas mileage so that I can tote my granddaughter back and forth to her house, to my house, and go back and forth and not have to share a car with my daughter, which has been awesome sharing a car with her, but it also will be great to have one here at my home so that during any time that I might have the baby and need to go somewhere, I'll be able to go and do. And so it's a prayer that God has answered for me. Just not even 2 months ago, I kind of came to the realization, and when my daughter brought it up, I said, if y'all could do it and help me, that would be marvelous, but I cannot financially afford to do it myself. And I've got a wonderful extended family. That includes my ex and my ex-husband's wife, who are Nana and Grandpa to my grandbaby. And so they understand, that my grandbaby, it's important that I have reliable transportation. And so they also know my daughter is a school teacher who doesn't make a lot of money, and that she needs all the help she can get as well. And that's why I provide her daycare for her at no cost. But I am blessed beyond means to have all the time to spend with my granddaughter, and now to have this newer, nicer vehicle to drive. So I'm very happy tonight. Thank you. You give and you get. That's right. And I do. I've spent the majority of my adult life giving and helping other people. And I was always last on my list. It didn't matter, if I had nice things or not, as long as my husband was taken care of, as long as my daughter was taken care of and had what she needed and what she wanted. I worked sometimes 2 jobs. I did everything I could do to make it be a nice childhood for my daughter. And now I'm helping my daughter do that for my granddaughter. Yes, Miss Norma, the old Jeep is gone. I actually sold my Jeep a couple weeks ago because I did not know that it would sell as fast as it did. And I posted it on Facebook Marketplace, and I got about 35 people from the afternoon until the next morning who were interested. And the first person that came to look at it bought it and paid me what I was asking for it. So I've not had my Jeep for a couple of weeks, and they were having trouble finding the car that they wanted to get me. And so I had no choice but to be carless some of the time and then to share the car with my daughter. But it's worked out, and, God answers prayers. And so now, like I said, this will be a new chapter in my life. I will be able to get back to going to the YMCA and doing my swimming. The weather is breaking here. It was actually in the 80s the other day. And so it won't be too long, and I will have my car back, and I'll be able to go in the afternoons after I take my granddaughter home and go on to the Y and swim, do my whirlpool to relax afterwards, and just have a good time. So that's kind of what I mean by putting yourself first. I would have never taken time out of my life, and when I say my life, I mean my family life, to go swimming for my own enjoyment. But now I definitely do. I make it a priority in my life. I'm there for my daughter, and I do what my daughter needs me to do. But when I'm not helping her, I'm taking care of myself. I do things that make me happy. And luckily, I'm one of the kind of people who I don't mind being alone. I will go in a restaurant by myself. I will go to the Y by myself. I will take myself shopping. That's why I love Miley Cyrus's new song, Flowers. I can buy myself flowers if I want flowers. I can take myself out dancing if I want to go dancing, which I can't dance, but I could if I wanted to. I basically could do anything I wanted to do when I'm not otherwise, helping out my daughter. And that it makes me have a happy, good life. I mean, I have a full life. I'm always busy. I never know from day to day with my daughter what's, going to be next, what we're going to get into and do. Some days she'll say, Mom, you want to go do this? You want to go do that? I'll say, sure, I don't have anything else going on. Why not? We'll go off and go shopping, go to dinner or whatever. Most of the time, it's with my granddaughter as well. And so I don't miss out on anything with her. You love my soul. I love my soul too. Amy, you're funny. But I have enjoyed getting this channel up and running. Miss Norma is my friend that we do the Real Life Happens, and I'm also streaming this on that channel tonight. I'm not sure if we have anybody over there watching us or not, but it'll be there on the recording, and they can watch it at their own leisure. And that's, always good. I'm also streaming it on Facebook with the Facebook group for Living My Best Life at 60. We also have a Facebook group for Real Life Happens, and that is called Life Happens Coffee Shop. It's also on Facebook. I've been trying to get to where I can stream onto that one too. But Norma, even though you made me the admin, I'm still having trouble. So I haven't been able to do that yet. I'm going to go ahead and switch my banner out so that y'all can see the links for the other two. Well, you know what? I can get them myself. Let me go back to comments. Let's see if I can do it from here. Just a second. Okay. I will get. Well, let me see. I have to say something to be able to get to my channel. Yep, just a second. Whoops. I'm still learning, y'all, how to do all this. Okay. This is going to be Real Life. Whoops. I'm sorry. I meant to copy you. Well, I guess it won't let me do that. Hold on. I'm working on it. I'm working on it, ladies. All right. There I go. Okay. First up is going to be my dog's channel, which this doggy channel is for being to laugh, to get some laughs, to be lighthearted. Hello, Kristen R. I just want y'all to check her out. She is hilariously funny little dog. When y'all need a good laugh, go to her channel, and should be coming. Yeah. Check out Chloe the Chewini when you need a good laugh. And then I'm going to try to do Miss Norma's again. Let me go back to that one. Let's see. Oops. Hello, Christian R. You can drop your channel or Peppa's channel if you want. She has a Chewini also, Peppa the Pig, or Peppa the Chewini. I'm sorry. My grandbaby watches Peppa the Pig. So, all right, let's see now if this goes to Real Life Happens. And then it lets me get that one. Yes. Okay. And here is Real Life Happens. Real Life Happens. Right now I'm sharing basically the same content on both channels because we're not able to go live very often on the other channel yet. Miss Norma and I are having some types of conflicts with our time frames, but we're going to get that worked out very soon. And then we'll be able to be on either both channels, or we'll be on one or the other. I'm going to go back and make sure I didn't miss. No, you didn't miss it. Right here it is. This Real Life Happens one is her channel. Kristen doesn't have that many of her Peppa dog on hers, but they are cute. So check hers out too. You want me to drop it, Kristen? Well, I don't know. That one, that comes back to Kristen instead of Peppa. I'll let you drop Peppa's. Okay. All right. So let me tell you something else very exciting going on in my life. My daughter had wanted to go to the BTS concert. And BTS is a Korean. There we go. I'm lost. I didn't go right back to my space there. There we go. Okay. It's a Korean K-pop band. Anyway, so she has been trying to get tickets. And the year that COVID was so bad, she actually had tickets. And they were going to be going to Atlanta to see them in concert. And she was so happy about it. Well, time came and went. And because of COVID, they weren't allowed, because they're in South Korea, they weren't allowed to come back and do another concert here. And so she ended up not being able to, they gave her money back, but she wasn't able to go to the concert. So my daughter and her husband both love Korean K-pop. And there's another group that they both like, and they're coming to do concerts in Atlanta in May, which is their anniversary of their wedding anniversary month. And so she was able to get them tickets, and I'm going to have the grandbaby that weekend, and they're going to go spend the weekend in Atlanta and go out to dinner and go to this concert and just have a good old time. And that is just so exciting to me. That's one thing. When I was married, I didn't do that kind of thing very often. And I really think that, even though we're parents and we have children, there is something very important about keeping your relationship with your husband going, having date night, having date weekends, getting little getaways when you can. And so I encourage my daughter to do that. I encourage my daughter to have, friends away from work friends with her and her husband as a couple, to do things with family, to make traditions with just her husband, and the baby as a family. All of those things that I feel like I tried to do as a wife and mother. But sometimes when you are the wife and mother and you're working, it's so hard because you get so boggled down in all of the day-to-day stress and, things. And I didn't have anybody to reach out to and say, here, can you take the baby for the afternoon, for the evening, whatever. So I know how important that is. And so I'm trying to make sure that my daughter has that kind of a life, to where she still has a very active social life, as well as being a mother, and as well as having a job and being a wife, but that she still has time for herself, and she still knows, who she is as a woman. Because when my husband left, I will tell you, ladies, I did not know who I was. I was his wife. I was her mother. I was my job's employee. I don't know who I was to myself. But now, in March, will be 8 years. I know who I am now. I found my voice and my way in life, and I stand on my own 2 feet, and I'm ready to conquer the world. And I didn't have this attitude before I got divorced. Before I got divorced, I was very much so. I pushed hard to support what my husband did and support what my daughter did. I didn't push hard for what I did. And I may be disabled. I may be unable to hold down a 9-to-5 type job or 5 days a week. But I can do this YouTube thing. A couple hours here, a couple hours there. I love making videos, and I love doing topics that I'm interested in and passionate about. And I love having people who have reached out to me. It means the world to me that I get comments. Yes, Miss Norma, you guys need date night too. Everybody needs date night. I don't care if you've been married a year or if you've been married 30 years. You have to have and maintain that relationship with your spouse, because if you don't, it can be gone in the blink of an eye. And then, you don't have that. And I miss it. I really do. I'm not saying I did anything wrong to lose my relationship, but when you look back at things, there's always, I could have, I wish I should have, why didn't I, little things that I could have maybe done differently that maybe would have made it to where I didn't lose my marriage. Unfortunately, I did lose it. And so I have to do what I can now. Christian R says adult time and self-care is important. That is awesome. I always tell my daughter if she needs help or a break, bring over the grandbaby. I will watch her as I do every weekend. Exactly. I got this fan going, but my nose is wanting to run a little bit. And I mean, some people are still working themselves, and so they can't offer their grown children, as much help as maybe I can. But we all can do something. Mystery Sky, exactly. That is my point. Exactly. We can do it on our own. We don't have to have a man in our life. We can go out with a good girlfriend, or a neighbor or somebody from church or whoever it might be. We can still go out and enjoy life and have a good time. I got a friend's request on Facebook the other day, and the person said, I think we might be neighbors. And I guess 2 years ago, and she does live in my apartment complex, but 2 years ago, she was out walking with her walker and had just had back surgery and came by my apartment, and I was bringing groceries in. And so we had a brief conversation, brief enough that we said, oh, you live there? I live here. My name's Echo. Her name is, I'm not going to say her name, but, and I hadn't talked to her since. And she gave me a friend's request on Facebook and said we might be neighbors. And so we had a conversation, and sure enough, I remember that day meeting her. And so I said, well, she's had some more issues, and she's either on a walker or in a wheelchair now. And I said, as soon as this weather breaks good, I'm going to be walking my granddaughter down to the little playground here in our apartment complex. And I said, I'll stop by and we'll get you, and you can walk, go down there with us, and maybe we'll take a picnic or something like that. But she said, she hasn't met anybody here, and she really doesn't have anybody. And I said, well, we'll make something work. Trouble says living. I'm divorced, and I actually prefer being alone with my kids. LOL. Well, I enjoy my daughter's company, probably too much, because she was 17 at the time of my divorce, and she was more of a friend to me than a daughter. And she let me lean on her, and I've had to slowly take back that role of being the parent. But now that she's 25 and a parent herself, we are really super tight and very, very close friends, as well as mother and daughter. I there was a lot of things I didn't mind about my separation and divorce. And then there were a lot of things that, I still miss to this day and probably always will. My husband was my best friend. And so when the marriage ended, I felt like, I lost my marriage and I lost my best friend. It does get hard being a single mom, especially if your kids are young. I am so thankful my daughter was old enough to understand what was going on. So anybody else want to come up onto the panel and have a conversation, or anybody else want to put a topic in the chat and we can go to town on talking about it? I'm serious, ladies. I will do whatever y'all want to do. My heart goes out to every one of you that has taken the time to write me a comment. Okay, I will, Karen. I will drop it. There we go. And Norma, you notice whenever I drop a comment from Living My Best Life, it automatically drops that comment in Real Life Happens. Oh, good. Norma will come up. Okay. Grab that link. But it doesn't show me the chat from the other side. Only shows me this chat.
Hi.
Hi.
I had to shut my whole computer down and reboot. Oh, what a mess. Did you
What
ever get
a
to
mess.
play that video?
No, wasn't sure. Is it
it's a YouTube video. It's from a doctor. You can play it. It's legit.
But what I want to do is
everything you were talking about because everything went down on me.
Yeah. But I want to be able to play it on the I want to be able to pull it up and try to play it, which I'm having trouble doing that, but I'm going to try it here in just a minute. Let me see if I can get
Thank you, Christina. Thank you. I don't know what I missed, but the whole computer just decided to be like an asshole.
Oh, she's telling you happy birthday. It is Karen's birthday,
yeah,
y'all.
No, I did say happy birthday. I mean, I did say thank you.
Yeah. And if I would have been a better planner, we could have had you a party over here. But I didn't realize.
That's okay.
Okay, that's for Miss Norma. Let's see if she's going to try to come up, and then I'll try to find this video.
Okay. Yeah, right. I sent you the link on your phone.
Yeah, let me see and how I can do that.
Maybe email it to yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I could probably email it to myself.
No, it's not about mud flaps. Started on that shit, please. No, it's about colonics, what we were talking about earlier. Oh my gosh.
All right, let's see.
So did I miss anything important?
No, we actually got off on talking about me getting a new used car and my daughter going to a concert, and we kind of totally went off the subject, but that's okay too. Let's see how can I do this? Why does it not give me a? Okay, let's get Miss Norma.
Just hit share.
There we go.
You know, to your
copy.
email.
And then when I copy and I go to my email,
because a lot of people didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
They show how it's starting, what they actually do, and then from there, it's not as invasive as what people think it is.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna get Miss Norma up here.
Hi, Miss Norma. Hi.
There she is. Hi. Okay. Now I'm going to try to share the Miss Norma. I learned something new. Okay. I'm trying to learn how to share the screen. Okay. It doesn't work how I want it to, but we're going to try something again. So everybody stay where you're at and let's just see how this works. Okay. Share the screen. Do entire screen. Share.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is what colonics is, if anybody wanted to know.
And I pull up my email, because that's what I did with those other videos. I emailed them to myself. Then I can pull up the email and get them off of there, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
My computer would load.
I think Amy knew what I was talking about. But she went out to dinner. I've seen that.
Yeah. Well, why are you not coming up?
crashed.
Just a minute. Let me take it down. Let me try again. Come on. Come on. I'm so excited if this works. I'm going to be so happy. I don't know why it seems like I don't know why it seems like it's taking forever for my email part to load. Okay. I don't like how that's working. So let me try something different. All right, so we're going to stop. And I'm going to share. Share. Let's try this way. Select a tab to share. There we go. Uh-oh, I lost Karen.
Yep.
She's still here. Oh, no, her device unconnected. Just a minute.
Well, she said she's having trouble.
Yeah. I don't know why it won't let, now it won't, it just won't let me, it won't let me load it at all, period. I don't know what, I don't know. Yaya, best life, hello. This is somebody I met on a new site that I went to this morning. Well, I've been going there a couple of days. It's they do like auctions. They sell all kinds of different stuff. And so I had went to Miss KK to play bingo. Why is it like that? Okay. Anyway, I went to Miss KK's to play bingo, and then I met some other people, and they do these online auction things. And so then I went there this morning, and this nice lady, Miss Yaya, Best Life, that she commented, oh, she liked my name because it has Best Life in it as well. And so does her name. So we both subscribe to each other, and she just popped in the chat. I love that. Thank you so much. But everyone, this is Miss Norma. Miss Norma, this is everyone. Hello, Alicia. How are you?
Nice to finally meet you.
Yes, nice to finally have you come up. How is your back doing?
It's doing a lot better. I'm still having trouble with the numbness every now and then, but he said it'll take time. So I told him to switch to round. If I stand too long in one spot, I get numb. But then if I start moving, it'll go away. So he said it switched reverse.
I was going to say, because before it was like if you sat too long, it would hurt.
Yeah, or
tried to walk too much.
My leg would go.
Yeah.
So now it's switched, but he said a lot of it could be too, because where they done that, they had to press on my back, and where my back's messed up, it messes the rest of my back up. So he said maybe after a couple weeks, we'll see how I'm doing, and then he can give me a shot in the back, the steroid shots, or whatever you call them.
Yeah.
Help my other part of my back. So
wow.
We go. I'm doing better though. I feel a lot better.
Oh, let's see who's back here. Well, that's Miss Norma. Okay. Let's see. I dropped your link. Oh, Miss Brenda, are you ready to come back? I don't know if she's ready to come. Yeah, she's not muted. Okay, I'm trying.
Hello.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Miss Brenda, this is Miss Norma.
Hello,
Miss
Brenda.
This is Miss Norma.
Nice to meet you too.
She's to blame for me being on YouTube. Well,
you're the one.
Not to being on YouTube, but trying to have a channel. We were both already on YouTube, but then we met, and then we thought we were smart enough we could do a channel.
Yeah, it took us a while. We made it up, but
it has taken forever for us to learn what the heck we're doing, and we still don't know.
No matter who it is, it takes them. It is so much involved.
Yeah.
You don't really realize it until you start getting involved with the StreamYard and all the different areas, and then the way to share and to copy this and do that, and there's a lot involved in it,
And the thing about it is, when you watch somebody that's been doing it for a while, they make it look so easy.
So easy.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And then
and it's not easy.
No.
And then when you don't know anything, like I didn't really, and now I'm on my daughter's laptop, which I knew nothing about. My laptop, I knew how to use it a little bit, but I always complained it was too slow.
Right.
But the camera didn't work on it, but we didn't realize that. And so here's Miss Norma's on live, and she's trying to pull me up to be on live, and I've got her on the phone, and I'm saying, "Can you see me now?" Because we didn't know how it was supposed to look backstage or anything.
Right.
And it's like,
we was all confused.
Oh, it was horrible. But what we did is I took those beginning lives where we made so many mistakes, and I made these really cutesy little videos out of them.
Yeah.
Oh,
and her grandkids were like, "She's trying to make fun of you, Grandma." She's we're making fun of ourselves. We're just saying it's not.
You want to laugh so everybody else can laugh along.
If you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at?
Exactly.
Other than yourself,
But it was so funny because we were trying so hard.
We have to laugh at ourselves. We have to.
And that's why when the Purple Tavern made that video of me supposedly being Miss Piggy, all I could do was laugh at it.
Yeah.
It was so hilarious when Norma and I started out. We said, we already know everything that our faults, and we're old enough to know that, you got to be able to laugh at yourself. Yeah. So what are they going to say about us that's, going to upset us? There's nothing they can say.
So we make jokes over ourselves.
Yeah. So when that video came out, I was like, it's hilarious. And the person that, told me about it was like, "I know you're going to be upset and your feelings are going to be hurt." And I'm like, I'm thinking something tragic happened, and I'm like, what is going on? They're like, "Well, I want you to hear it from me and not to get asked about it in chat or something." And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And so she told me, and I was like, well, hang on, let me go watch it. So I went and I watched it, and I was like, well, actually, I like Miss Piggy and Kermit, and I think it's hilarious.
Me too.
I said, actually, I would love to be dancing around like that. So I was like, I think it's pretty good. So I responded, and said, thank you for the beautiful tribute. I love it. Yeah. And they were like, it's not a tribute, and you weren't supposed to love it. And I'm like, sorry, that's just how I felt about it. I thought it was great. I didn't have a problem
they did
with it
one
at all.
about me, and they called it Russo. She was Russo, I guess, in some Disney movie or something.
Oh,
by my voice, and they had my face, my eyes really, really dark. So I don't know if it was a bad creature or a good creature, and I'm like, who is this, and they just said they came at me because I came at them. Well, I didn't come at anybody, to be honest with you, because I don't even know who they are.
Yeah, and I definitely didn't do anything to them because I don't know who they are. And they were making fun of me exercising, but when I did the exercise thing, it was about me swimming at the Y. So they really could have done something on that, So it was like, it really wasn't accurate, and I had to watch it 2 or 3 times to see that they were actually using my eyes and my nose on Miss Piggy. Because at first I was like, I don't see it, but anyway. It was funny, but that's why I kept telling Purple, play my video. It's so cute.
I remember.
She's like, we don't want to play it. It's embarrassing for you. And I'm like, no, it's not. Play it. I want to see it again. But you have to be able to laugh at yourself, because if not, you can't do anything, you know.
I take half credit.
He takes
You
half
take,
credit.
oh, Eli, where you at, buddy? You take
I
half
see
credit
him.
for my Miss Piggy and Mr. Kermit video?
I made a video of her. Somebody did.
Yeah, they the Purple Tavern. It's one of those
I'm thinking that I was last
clip
time.
channels that's supposed to be making you upset or embarrassing you or
Yeah,
something
it's
like that.
I'm bigger than you.
What do they call it? A clip channel.
Yeah.
What they call clip channels. Clip channels go around making fun
But-
of people.
And they take like movie clips and they take and put your face, superimpose your face over the person in the
Right.
movie.
What?
Yeah.
That's a turtle right there.
I guess. He's got a turtle on his arm, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He says when he flexes, he's got a turtle on his arm.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Okay, Miss Karen, I'm so sorry you're having so many troubles with it. Have a happy birthday from all of us. Happy birthday. But y'all need to, if you do go on Real Life Happens, we'll go back to some of our really old videos. And y'all will, will have the best laugh because we are so hilariously funny.
It's like,
yeah, you guys decided to do it when I was at school.
Well, Eli, you and your sister and my grandbaby is the reason that your Meemaw and me cannot get together, because it's always one of us has a kid around. So we're having trouble.
Hey, but I'm more.
The other one, she's in there watching TV, so why you don't hear from her.
Yeah, because Natalie's usually too, and that's exactly what they would do. We'd be having the conversation, and then they'd pop up behind her.
Yeah,
you know. At least they just popped up. Anna East is climbing on the computer.
I'm still happy that I got bigger in my arms. That means I'm
So I can't do anything with Anna East around anymore. She is terrible.
Yeah. I've seen her climbing all over you.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible. It is totally impossible with her here now. Whose dog is
my
that?
dogs are going nuts. It's feeding time.
Oh,
Feeding time at the zoo. I'll be
I was
right
going
back.
to say, because Miss Norma has a dog that sounds like an evil demon when he growls and barks.
He's asleep right now.
The first time I heard it, I was like, oh my God, what is that noise?
He's a big old baby.
But it was just a puppy dog. I told him about your ghost, but I think it was on, I think that was on, I don't know if it was on one of my lives or if it was on Miss Iris's live. But anyway, we were talking about ghosts, and I told him about the ghost up in your window.
Oh, yeah.
Up your house.
Up in the bedroom.
Yeah. When she bought the house, they took a picture up from the outside of the house. When they got the pictures developed, there was a little girl standing up in the bedroom, in the upstairs bedroom window.
I want to see that.
And they found out that she had died in that house of pneumonia.
Yeah.
And she's still up there. The ghost of the little girl is up there in the bedroom.
Has she ever appeared to you?
She don't. She's done some. Now the only bad thing she done, and wasn't bad, but when my oldest grandson was little, his mother had to live with us for a while, and for some reason she did not like her. She would turn the radio on her, and then she turned the channels on the TV.
Oh, wow. So she was active.
Yeah. And then she got mad, and Dylan was little then. He's 23 now. I think he was about 2. She got mad. We got a window in her hallway going up the steps. She had somehow took the shade off, not the curtain, but the shade under it, and put it down the steps. And after that, she's not really. Since she moved out, she's not really.
Put your lights, turn your TV all the way up and everything.
She likes to play with the TV. But they got.
Yeah.
She loves
In my sister's house, we had one that every pair of scissors we bought would disappear.
Oh, wow.
We would put them on the desk, you know, in the little holders, and would put one in her craft room. We had one in the kitchen that was for the meat, you know, and
Yeah.
every single one would disappear. They were gone.
Wow.
And one day I was sitting there, and I was down in the basement at that time, and this was like a split level. So you came in, you could either go up or go down the stairs. And I heard somebody knocking at the front door. And so I went up the stairs, I opened the door, I looked out, and there's nobody there. And it would be when I was by myself. It never was when anybody else was home until the last time my ex-husband was home. And I said, "You watch." And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, the knock came from the bedroom door. The very light knock, you know. And I would say, you know, "Who is it? Hello?" Nothing. My ex got up, opened the door, and looked. There was nobody there. Then my daughter came down with her friend, and what they did was during the night, around midnight, they got up and they took a picture with just a flash and no light in the stairway. And there was an older woman on the top, and in the bottom of the stairs, there was a child sitting,
Mm.
you know, like with their knees up, you know, and
Uh-huh.
their hands around their knees. And I think that was the little, he was more, he played. He always playing, taking things away or misplacing things. And you're looking, the keys ended up missing, different things just end up missing.
Mm.
Now, that don't happen on a norm. You know where you put things, you know.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it was very, very strange. And then one year they were putting up the Christmas tree. This was the last year I think they were there. And this gold coin looked like it fell from the ceiling. And when my nephew picked it up, and I said, "Let me see that." It said St. Anne's Home for Wayward Children
Oh,
was on the coin. So I'm
okay.
wondering, maybe that child was from that home and was there, living there at one time, and maybe it died there and that's where it stayed.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. But
Yeah, could be.
it was very, very strange, you know. It was
Right.
very strange.
Our house was built in 1889.
Yeah.
So
It's a long time ago.
It's
Yeah.
our house is 130 some years old, I think.
The one I'm in now is old. There was two houses here. And this one was built first. It's where the mother and I guess the father lived. And then next door, they built a house for the daughter, which has got 2 bedrooms. And when they sold it, they divided it. So down the driveway, halfway is our side, and halfway is owned by the neighbor's side, the one that owns that land. Oh, thank you for the weather report.
I heard cameras like that too.
Welcome, Roxanne. Roxanne's another lady I met off of one of the auction sites.
Is that when they put up like jewelry and
Yeah. Well, they
yeah,
sell
I've been to
anything.
those. Yeah,
There's like a whole community of people who do that.
yeah,
I had no idea.
I went there a long time ago.
I met that.
Is it through YouTube or Yahoo?
No, this is on YouTube.
So I used to go to the one on Yahoo.
Yeah, this is on YouTube. I went to Miss KK, Kathy's Corners bingo game. And a lot of the people that are the resellers on those auction channels come into her bingo. And so that's how I've been meeting other people. So now I'm starting to get some subscribers from some of those other communities. So it's very nice to see you all. When you come in here, that makes me happy that you're not just subbing up to, you know, how some people just sub up and never show up at your live or anything.
I won a purse the other night
Yeah.
at the bingo.
You did what?
I won a purse, you know,
Yeah.
the little race thing she has with the angels.
Yeah.
I won a purse.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Cool.
I couldn't win at bingo, but I won that.
Was it Wednesday night?
I think it was Wednesday.
Because I didn't get to go. She does it Tuesday and Wednesday, and I didn't get to go in there Tuesday or Wednesday night.
They canceled Natalie's Wednesday class for a month. We got to go on Mondays now instead of Wednesdays.
Oh, okay.
And I went in and played.
Yeah, it's fun. I like going in there.
It took me forever to figure out how to play, but I figured it out.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of, I don't think they quite have it figured out yet either, how they want to do it, but it's been fun, something different to do.
Yeah.
But I like going in those auction sites, and most of them also do like, they'll have like devotional readings sometimes, like in the mornings on their channels, and then they do the sales at night.
Yeah.
Things like that. And so I've been going to just different ones of them and just checking it all out. Hello, Miss Yaya, Miss Heidi. We have another person, Miss Yaya, Best Life, that I met that's come in. So we'll have to make sure we get our Yayas straight. We'll call her Yaya and we'll call you Heidi, since we know you as Heidi too.
Yeah. No, where's the Heidi?
Yeah, Heidi. And Norma, guess who was on Purples today?
Who?
On her panel, Voices.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, I should have went up there and said, do you remember me? But I didn't. I've changed my name. I've changed my name since then, so she probably wouldn't remember me.
Oh, she would know mine since she's seen it.
Oh, she'd know yours, yeah, because you're the same.
Yep, she'd know who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember her from going to MGLs.
Yeah, well, that's where we met her too.
Right,
we were,
that's where I
we
met
were
her. And
in MGLs when Heidi was still there.
Yeah,
and then Heidi split off, and then
I left
Voices split off.
Yeah.
And we kind of followed Voices for a little while, and then we decided to start our own.
Yeah.
And
I felt to feel bad for her. I felt like they wanted her to go. Yeah. I felt like they wanted her to go when they would go on those trips.
Yeah.
But then again, how was she supposed to keep up with them? She had so many health issues, and they were on the go.
Well,
you know?
I don't know. I don't know if she ever even intended on ever going.
She might not have, you know.
I don't know. She did or not. But when she had started her own channel, we all felt, most everybody that went with her, went to her channel was because we felt sorry for how Molly had done her.
Right.
And then, and I still, it's just, she just wasn't consistent. Yeah, I like somebody like Purple that, she's coming on at least once a day, most likely twice a day. And you have something to watch.
Right.
And with her, I mean, she would go weeks without putting anything out, or she might go 2 or 3 days in a row, or, it just whatever she felt like, which is okay. That's how some people do their channel. Yeah. But I just like the consistency of knowing, that you're going to see the same people in there. And that was another thing. She had a lot of turnover in her subs. And so after a little while, it was like we didn't recognize anybody that we knew. And we knew like everybody when she first started out. And then
I
after
think people tried to follow her, and then there was something that wasn't right, something that was off. And a lot of people went from there. I was going between hers and Susan's, and then Heidi's. So I was going to the 3. And then Susan wasn't on the up and up. There was so many things going on with Susan that I just went to Heidi's. because that was the most stable. That was where I felt the most comfortable. You know?
Ladies for a little while.
Yeah. And you know, I'm very picky when it comes to getting on a panel, you know, because I don't know, I just am. It's just me.
Right.
You know, I'm not a
yes,
camera
love to
person.
love God. I came on YouTube when it was Gabby Petito case.
Yeah, me too.
I had just canceled my cable, and so I still had internet, and I figured out I could get stuff like news and stuff off of YouTube, and I started watching some of the news on that, and then I found out there was actually true crime shows, and I really love true crime, and so I started watching Molly back then. I can't remember what my original name was.
The only thing that changed on me was, instead of being Brenda Costa, it was Brenda Plord, which is my married name. So I went back to Costa, which was my birth name.
Oh,
and
okay.
That sort of threw people off, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was and then they added the AKA Dr. Bitch, you know, because I would step up and say things when normal people wouldn't, you know.
Right.
I would voice my opinion, you know.
Right.
And I
Hello, Taxified. Yeah, well, but that's what we like about you, Miss Brenda. You'll say the things we're all thinking that we just won't verbalize.
Exactly, you know.
So,
and I don't mind that, you know. I don't mind doing that.
But I started watching Purple because Norma and I were having so much trouble being able to get to do lives, and we were still putting out videos, and we were getting subscribers, but then when we would do a live, it was like either nobody could come at that time, or we just didn't get, you know, much turnout. And then we started having the conflict of when we could get together, and so then I started just watching Purple just to have something to watch.
Right.
And then next thing I know, it's like I decided to go ahead and try to do this on my, you know, do the one on my own about being over 60 and all. And then I started getting to know all of you guys, and then you guys actually come to the lives. And so I'm like, hey, you know, this is what we need to do. We need to have them know both channels and just kind of merge things together. Because at least these folks show up.
Right. It works out good when you've got a number of channels in a network.
Right. And our other channel is more for women's issues, but for any age. And we wanted to help the younger ladies, you know, the younger girls coming up into motherhood and into, you know, getting married and all that. And this channel is more for us. How are we going to live our lives from here on out? You know, so they're kind of connected, but they're kind of different as well. But I do see that a lot of the material that I'm doing for my channel can work on both channels, just like streaming the lives on both of them works.
Right. It works out good, you know. It works out good when you can reach different types of people, going through different types of things. You don't think you'll have anything in common, and then boom, something connects. You know, and when it connects, there's a connection, and when that connection hits, it stays.
Exactly.
You know? And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
And like I said, I mean, people have left me wonderful comments, and I'm in Purple's Discord, and I've had people message me through that Discord as well.
The Discord's fun, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, something's working, what we're doing, you know. So I'm just having a good time. As long as it's fun for me, then I'll keep doing it.
Great. Yeah. You know, that's a great thing to do, you know.
But I think all of us came through Molly somehow. You know, almost everybody, when you ask
why I got on Molly's, I just remember joining and getting on.
Oh, I know why I watched it, because I watched a news program with that Brian Enton whenever Molly and Betty Bullhorn and JR, when they were down there on the lawn with the laundry basket and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, who are these crazy people? And Molly was like the only one that really had her channel going. So I started watching her, you know, along with it.
I just came into it and went on it. And right before that, and then they went down to the laundries, and So many people supported her to go down there, and it was pretty good. But once Betty got there, it got, I don't want to say raunchy because that's not what it was. It was derailed.
Yeah.
Derailed, yeah.
It got derailed, and
well, and they had to sensationalize everything.
Right.
To, like they had to go
right.
more crazier than they were.
Right.
They couldn't just stand out there. They had to start. They started doing more and more and more and more.
Well, she got that from being, I believe the way she said it was from Trump rallies.
Well, JR and Betty Bullhorn, they knew each other from Trump stuff.
Right. So
Molly didn't even know them.
That's
Molly
only loud and
over the top. That's how Molly met them.
Right.
Because they were down there already protesting, and then she went down there. And then they met down there. But JR and Betty had already known each other, and they're still in that Republican caucus or whatever you call it. So they still go out. JR still goes to a lot of Trump rallies.
He loves Trump.
Yeah.
He loves Trump. And I just say right now then the way this world is, I just want someone that knows what the hell they're doing. Right now we're in such a mess between everything, between going to from Trump, from Obama to Trump to Biden. It's like we put ourselves in such a position that we're in a mess.
I hate to say it. I really hate to say it, but I honestly don't think they let him stay in there long enough to clean up the previous person's mess.
Right.
And then get their programs working. And then it's time we're going to get somebody else.
Yeah.
Right.
I really think it ought to be longer terms.
Yeah. I agree.
To where they can at least have a chance to, and then too, it shouldn't be you have a Republican president and a Democratic Congress where they don't see eye to eye. We need to have both the same. Get some stuff done, get the country back how it needs to be, and then go from there. But
I think
everybody just wants to blame everybody else.
I think they started doing that to level the playing field.
But I still say that it's not run the way it was meant to be run.
Right. No,
there's so many lobbyists and so much politics in politics that it's just not the working people, we're not getting what we need.
Right, exactly.
We don't have lobbyists for us.
We haven't in years, if you really think about it,
in bad shape
who really fought for us? Who really fought for us, in all these years? It's kind of crazy,
It is. And I'll tell you what, since I've been on disability and having to deal with the government, all those years that I worked and all that money I paid in, this is something I just found out. Somebody that's trying to decide they have probably 5 more years until like they'd be 65, but yet they don't want to have to work full time. So they were trying to see, what they could do or whatever. Anyway, but did you know that Social Security, they only look at they take the 3 highest years wages out of your last 5 years.
Right.
Now, how many people are working at their highest paid job that close to retirement? Most people have worked a job and then maybe even dropped their hours down or had medical issues, and so they're working less. And so all those years that we worked, 20, 30 years, we worked hard, that doesn't even count.
No, it doesn't. That's what makes it
last little bit of time.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I found that.
You got to be 66 and 4 months before you retire.
No, and they're trying to push it. Even the people coming below me, they're wanting it to go to 67, and then it'll be 67 in so many months. And before long, there won't be any.
I wasn't legally retired till January this year.
Yeah.
Dennis was retired at December last year.
5 minutes.
Yep. That's just how, that's how they do it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I am sure as it goes on, because they say it's going to be defunct and they're going to not have the money, what's going to happen to all the money that people have paid in, that they've already taken and used it for other purposes.
What it was? They borrowed over the years, I don't know how many thousands and millions of dollars off the Social Security that was already there.
Right.
And never paid it back.
Yep.
Never paid it back. And that started the decrease.
Right. And see, like with my daughter being a school teacher, they do their own retirement.
Right.
But they also give the teachers the option to also put money in actual Social Security.
Yeah. Right.
So that, possibly they might have their teacher retirement and have Social Security. They don't have to put it in there, but it's an option if they want to, and it may not be Social Security. It may just be like a 401k or something. But anyway,
right.
I feel like that's what's going to end up happening. Some of these companies are going to start their own type of retirement.
Something's going to have to give, because the money's just not there. And that's what's scary about it. The ones of us that didn't really have a lot of hours in and didn't have high paying, good paying jobs, we're going to be the ones cut off first.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then what? And then what do we do?
Exactly. I mean, it's not good.
That's why I say it's going to take somebody very, very intelligent, very up on everything. I don't care which side it's on. I don't care if it's an independent, a Republican, a Democrat, whichever, as long as they know what they're doing.
Work you died.
Because my landlord was here tonight and he was saying it, he says he's 70 years old and he's already not feeling good. He's not telling anybody, but he's not feeling good,
Mm-hmm.
And he works 50 hours a week. Exactly.
Yeah, my husband still works.
Yeah.
And he works at the refineries, here in Texas. So, and they pay fairly well. So I don't know what his retirement would be. Would it be worth it to retire at 70? Or wait till 70, what is it, 72 or 75? Is it going to change that much? If you don't feel good,
well, there comes a time when you have to decide, is it worth taking partial just so that you don't have to continue working? Exactly. But then you won't have as much money as if you had went the full, your full retirement age.
Right. It's crazy.
But it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be that we work our entire adult life, and then when we get to the point that we're unable to work, then now we have to worry about, are we going to make it?
It wasn't supposed to be that way.
No, it's not.
It was not supposed to be that way. But that's how it ended up with all the different changes and different people involved. And we end up losing, more than what we gain.
What is
it?
And it's sad,
Noise.
Yeah, and it just seems like they don't even care about people. I've learned a lot about some of the other foreign countries, how they take care of their elderly.
Right.
Things like that. And it's like, I don't know what has gone on and wrong with our society that we just kind of discard people, that we don't respect our elders and take care of them, like we should. And that's one thing between me and my daughter. It's like, we're family, whether I have it or she has it or we have it together. one way or another. She's not going without. I'm not going without. I'm not going to
Right.
be homeless, and she's not going to be homeless.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Right.
Lord forbid any of those things should happen. But we're family, and we're going to take care of each other one way or
Well,
another.
that's what we always try to do, you know.
Yeah.
Because
But a
that's
lot
what
of people
families
nowadays
do.
are like, nah, nah, nah. You know,
It's too
they almost
easy.
think that their parents messed up their lives, and like, you know, well, you didn't plan ahead, or you didn't do, you know, what you should have done,
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
And when all we were doing was taking care of our children so that they have a
Exactly.
chance at life,
Exactly.
you know, and then for them to be like,
I mean,
oh no, you know, you didn't save. How can you save when, you know, you have a child to take care of, or whatever the case might be?
Right. Right.
So I'm just glad my
what's your
daughter
life?
understands that I did everything in my power for her, and that she needs to take care of me when the time comes, you know. Okay, just I
Yeah.
put y'all on big screen. I don't know if you can tell, but the way they redid the stream yards, now y'all are in little tiny boxes, like little squares, and the time and the count is over top of, like, I couldn't see my face at all, and then I can either see like the tops of y'all's heads or the bottom of your picture on the
Right.
So I'm like, let me put it on full screen. I look at the chat on my phone so that I can see y'all, because all I was seeing was like little tiny little, you know how the size of the box is, Norma, when you come up in the back?
Yeah.
One box that big with all 4 pictures in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's for the birds. I can't see well enough to do it like that.
Yeah.
White glass.
Mm-mm.
Oh, goodness gracious.
But I tell you what, I went ahead and I got the $25 a month StreamYard, which is, it's unlimited. You can stream as long as you want to stream. And you can stream to 3 places at the same time. Because with that 20 plan, I was going live and staying on for 4 or 5 hours at a time. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to make it a month on that, you know.
Yeah.
But it was fun when we first started, because I had 20 hours and she had 20 hours, you know, so we both could go. But then when I started having these longer lives, I was like, yeah, I need to just bite the bullet and go ahead and get it, so that I don't have to worry about, oh, when is my time going to run out?
Yeah.
Well, that's what most of them did. They started out lower, and then they get to 25.
Yeah.
So they have unlimited, and they can do more lives, and
right. And you can actually only pay, you can do $20 a month if you can pay for it a year at a time. But if you want to pay monthly, they charge you that extra $5.
Right.
But I said, I don't know that I'll be on
up,
here a year, so I didn't want to pay for it.
Aren't they going up on something else too? What was it? Oh damn, see, I don't know. I can't remember. They're gonna go up on, they're gonna take more money out of your
they might be changing how the AdSense works and the monetization, how that works.
Right, as far as super chats and
yeah,
stuff like that.
I don't know, but I don't think I'll ever get monetized, to be truthful. I mean, I don't care if I get monetized or not. That's not my intent at all.
Well, I mean, some people, that's all they have.
Well, yeah, I understand that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having membership, doing special things for the members. And I don't think there's anything wrong with people giving super chats and supporting their channel and all of that. But I don't want people to feel like they need to do that.
Like
I'm on here for my enjoyment as much as their enjoyment. So, you know, it's not a job for me. Now, some people, it is their job and it is their source of income.
Part of their income. Not so much their job, but you take a family, a husband and a wife. The husband may not be able to work because there's younger children. So it's just like a little extra.
Right.
Gives her to help. So she feels like she's contributing.
Yeah.
You know?
And I would never, if somebody said, hey, I want to make a donation, I would put it towards my StreamYard and towards my Canva or whatever like that. I'm not saying I would never accept a donation, but I'm not going to ask people. I'm not going to put it out there to where people feel like, oh, gee, we have to do this or we have to do that.
I have to pay them to watch them.
Yeah. I would never do that.
I ever learned how to edit my footage, I might get some videos on. I'm not good at this.
I don't know how you do any of that. I don't know
for-
how editing even works.
It's hard.
You know. And my
It-
husband, my second
it's
husband was a computer tech.
Yeah.
You know, and he would do things all the time, but I never paid attention, you know, because he was on his computer and I was on mine. But he
Yeah.
taught me a lot, like about the where people go to get hacks, where they go under, they call on the black market, where they
Uh-huh.
would go and get hacks, like for Yahoo. Back
Uh-huh.
in the day, it was Yahoo. So people would go in there looking for hacks for Yahoo to boot people out.
Oh.
Somebody that would come in and start trouble, they wanted to be able to get them out of the room.
Yep.
You know, so he would go in there and buy it and have to turn it off as he logged in and then turn it on once he was in there because it was
Oh.
illegal.
Yeah.
You know?
See, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know how to do anything. Even
So
when
many,
even when they say, get the screenshot or get the URL or what, I'm like,
right.
how? I don't know.
The URL is usually on their homepage. It has their name, you know, everything about them, the name of the channel, the
And then
IP.
I think a lot of people are subscribed to a lot of those channels. And so they know when they go live and all that. I'm not subscribed to them. So I have the only way I know is if somebody tells me, you know, or if I'm just looking for something to watch and I happen upon them. Otherwise, I don't know that they're even on. I just don't go many places, you know, but it's just funny to me. Some of the things they'll say and they all act like, oh, well, they know exactly what you're talking about. And I'm like over here, I don't know. What is that?
Yeah, right. You know?
How do you do that?
Yeah. It's like, oh, you can do that? Okay, I didn't know that.
Well, I didn't know anything about it. He said, let me show you. I said, I don't know if I should watch this or not. Is it legal? Is it legal? And he'd say, it's legal. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't. But he was a tech and knew how to get around it.
Yeah.
So he worked the Gateway back in the day when Gateway was the main computer other than what's out there now, you know. Now there's so many different ones, but back then there was Gateway, Compact, this one here, which is Dell. There was not as many as there is today. I always had Gateways because he worked for them.
Yeah.
So models that they're still inside of the store, never used. So they would offer them to the employees, you know, at a discount.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they would buy them and he'd bring them home. We got my daughter one. My son, no, he wanted to make his own. He was gung ho on making his own computer, and he did. He did.
Well,
He went out and did it.
Yeah, I'm glad people have the knowledge to do all that and all that technical stuff that they all know how to do. I don't know how to do it, but that's okay. I'll never get accused of hacking anybody or anything like that.
No.
They'll be like, no, that lady definitely don't know how to do anything. She can't even share her screen to share a video. She's not going to hack anybody.
Right.
You don't know how to do this. Forget about it.
She's definitely not a hacker. Oh gosh, but I do get a little too emotionally involved. Like I had to kind of step back off of Purple's a little bit when they were all just being so negative to her.
Oh, it was awful.
Because I'm the kind of person that I'll be like, hey, listen, don't be talking about her like that.
Exactly.
You know, and I had to be like, okay, look, I can't even watch it. I can't hear it. I cannot see what they're doing.
Yeah.
It just bothered me so bad.
It does. I think all of us felt that way.
I was like, oh my gosh.
And they didn't give up on it. You know.
No. Well, it's just wrong. Everything they're doing to her and her family is wrong.
It is.
And I don't care what she said or done to anybody else. It needs to stop. They just need to stop.
Exactly. We all agree.
And if they all think it's only that nobody is going to watch if they don't do it,
Right.
you know, if they just would put on some actual cases and talk about some actual crime, that nobody would support them. I don't believe that. I think their supporters would support them no matter what they talked about.
Right.
But
well, that's what they did today.
Yeah.
Heidi finished that second part.
Yeah.
And
But
I
when
missed
you
it.
give
I
it,
caught the rerun. I didn't
when
get
you
I
got
didn't
all
get it
those
when it was
people in
live.
there that are only in there to stir up trouble
Mm-hmm.
and only in there to say things that are upsetting to people,
Right.
What does that matter? Why do you even want them in there? I would have been like, look, you're blocked, you're blocked, you're blocked. I don't want none of them in there, you know. But I don't know. I like Purple. I really do.
I do too.
And I trust that what she has said is true, that she hasn't done those things.
I
And
don't think she has, you know.
it
There's
just
not a strain of evidence
right.
that they can prove. I'll be right
And
back.
they haven't been able to prove anything.
No.
And that's the thing. She proved what she has the proof to back up whatever she says.
Right.
She's been doing it long enough that she knows you can't just make accusations about people. You just can't throw stuff out there just to be saying it. You have to have the backup and the proof. But the other people, they don't have anything, and they just say any kind of outlandish, crazy thing they want to say.
Right, exactly.
You know?
With no proof. They won't show proof.
Just to make drama. Exactly.
Right. I'll be right back.
Okay. That's why I was like, you know, we can talk about it over here. If y'all, you know, something happens and everybody wants to talk about it, that's fine. But I don't want the drama to come over here and you know, make this channel so it's not a nice place for people to go, and where people don't want to come over here and talk because they're afraid it's, you know, going to get back to somebody else or whatever. Yeah. You know, I don't want that to happen. But
like drama.
Yeah, I don't either, especially when it's stupid stuff.
Oh.
I mean, you know, if it was something, somebody was, you know, did something really, really bad and you could prove it, yeah, we might want to know that. But just to be making up stuff and just saying nasty things about people just to be saying it.
I don't believe people ought to bother people's family.
Well, and that's what they're doing. They're trying to dox people's husbands and their jobs and their kids and their grandkids and all that. I mean, none of it is worth anything to me. I don't care about any of that. But I don't like it when people are talking bad about somebody that I like to watch.
Yeah, it's just not right to bother your family. Just because you're on YouTube don't mean you can destroy people.
No, Heidi, I know you have been doing a case and we've been enjoying you doing that case. That's what I'm saying, though. I don't think Purple's audience would just up and leave if she didn't, you know, but they want her to defend herself. That's another part of it, too. You know, you can't not defend yourself when they're saying horrible things about you. You feel like you have to defend yourself. But they even tried to call truce and say, okay, we're not going to talk about them. And then they keep right on talking about everybody. That's right, PJ Wish. I think a lot of people have been unsubscribing. It's almost like there's a handful of channels and it's like you either fall on one side or the other. And one side wants to talk bad about the other side, and back and forth, back and forth.
It's like they're not going to make money or something. They're trying to make more money or get more.
Well,
I don't know how it even works to even.
Well, this is what I think it is. I think because most of the true crime channels do share subs. A lot of subs go to a lot of different channels.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't have to pick just one channel.
No.
But if you support two channels and they're constantly going at each other, eventually you're going to make a choice. You're going to pick one side or the other. Wow. And I think they're all so afraid that their channel's the one that's going to get left out and is not going to have any subscribers. But I think if they would just find out what their subscriber base wants them to do, and then provide that, I think they would still have their, their subscribers.
Yeah.
And I mean, even like Purple has over 3,000 subscribers, but I mean, I don't think I've seen more than about 250 people in her room at one time. So even though you have a whole bunch of subscribers, how many do you actually have that are actually coming to your programs?
Yeah.
That's right, Heidi, and you feel a lot better too without all that toxicity in your life, listening to all that nonsense. I know I do. I mean, I watch what I can handle, and when I can't handle it anymore, then I don't watch.
Yeah, that's why I got out of it when we was going through all that stuff. I was like, I could get too involved, and I don't want my life to be stressed out over. I got enough to stress out over.
Right, exactly. I got enough stress in my life without having added stress to it.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be entertainment. This is supposed to be relaxing and fun and making connection with people and interesting. It's not supposed to be who can we talk bad about today?
Yeah.
Right, right. I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, Heidi did a great job in that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't know how she made it through it. I would have been bawling my eyes out.
Yeah.
I was here. I told Purple, I don't think I'm supposed to cry after surgery, but I can't help it,
Yeah.
You just hear about what that poor little girl went through, and it was like, oh my Lord, I can't imagine,
Yeah.
She says, no crying, Brenda. I said, I'm trying,
Well,
But
and I think if you look at it, really, the ones of us that do show up at Purple's all the time, we all have our heart on our sleeve.
Oh,
We're
yes, we
all
do.
very emotional people,
Yes, yes.
and so it's hard. It really is hard.
It is. I agree.
Heidi said when she had her channel, she'd rather have 20 to 30 people enjoying each other than hundreds fighting.
Right,
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And she used to have the books, for the fibromyalgia.
Uh-huh.
And she would read, and because we all had some kind of ailment anyways. And it was funny how you would see the connection between Hashimoto's with diabetes, with lupus, with all these different ailments that people are going through more and more as time goes on,
Yeah.
and it was scary when she said it. I said, oh my God, I know mine checks my thyroid every time I go in there. They have me swallow
Yeah.
and check.
Well, and like with me, I found out I had low thyroid, high blood pressure, diabetes, all at the same time. So my symptom, I don't know which symptom
is
from which problem. I just know that I have all these all these symptoms, and I have these diagnoses.
Right.
But a lot of the things that I really thought were because of my diabetes, when I looked more into thyroid problems, I figured out they were thyroid problems and not from my diabetes. And I think every person is different because we all have a different combination of symptoms and everything. But it's still good to be able to talk about it and share what worked for me and what worked for you and what didn't work for you, and just to know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because some people I was on the shot I was on the pill for over, oh my Lord, about 20 years. And then I turned around, and once I came here to Texas, they were like, oh no, you've got to get on the shots. And I'm like, I really don't want to. Is there anything else we can use? And they're like, no, you've got to get on the shots. And the shots would help on certain areas where the pills don't.
Right.
And I would notice you'd feel better, even though your sugars were kind of whimsical as far as up and down and up and down. But I didn't feel the badness like I would feel like on metformin.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The metformin, you would feel ill. you know.
Okay, Heidi. Well, and that's the thing. Some people say metformin tears them up, something awful.
Yes,
I take it, and I take the extended release, and I take it in the morning, and I don't have any problem with it. But a lot of people have problems with it.
Yes.
I think it just really depends, on the person themselves.
On what type of the diabetes it is, what's actually causing it. Because like with my mom, it was her kidneys that caused her diabetes instead of it being the other way around.
Right. Because it's usually you have diabetes and it attacks your kidneys.
It was the opposite for her.
Yeah, mine was the opposite.
No.
My kidneys chose mine because I've started putting weight on. When I got sick, I lost like 13 pounds. And then since I had this back surgery, was down 2 weeks, I put 9 of it back on.
Yeah, that's how it goes with us. Once you get a certain point, I think it just fluctuates. It comes and goes. It comes and it goes.
Today, I had to go to my family doctor today, and I told him, I said, if I knew you got all these elements when you got old, I'd have chose not to go.
I would have taken much better care of myself.
He said, it don't work that way.
No, and you don't know, and that's why I preach to my daughter all the time. Take care of yourself. Do this, do that. You just don't realize it, and then in a blink of an eye, you're 60, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm old.
Exactly. Exactly.
You can't do the stuff you used to do.
Even though you want to, your heart's in it.
You're thinking, I can do that. Then you go try to do it. Like, no, I can't do that.
I can't. Exactly.
And then your body says, oh no, you can't. But your brain says, I can do that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's why it was so hard for me to quit working, because my brain said I could do it. My body said, no, you can't. And it took a long time for the two of them to come in agreement that, oh yeah, I'm just kidding myself. I couldn't do it.
I told my doctor, I said, if I could work, believe me, I'd be out there working.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be out there in a heartbeat.
I miss working. I don't miss the work or the job part of it. I miss the social aspects of
socialization.
Yeah,
I do too.
I had good customers that were good friends. I had good people I worked with that were my friends, and even though, when I would go back in there after I had to quit, I would still see him and how you doing, and we'll do lunch and all that. But then they're living their life and they're working and you're living your life. And before you know it, you've lost such touch. Thank goodness for like Facebook. I am friends with a lot of them on Facebook,
Well, that's good. That's good.
It's not the same as, seeing them in real life, but it's better than nothing.
I know. I tried to go. My doctor said no more. You can't work.
No, so and it was so much my identity after my divorce and everything. It was like, well, at least I still have my job. I still am that person.
Right.
And so then when I stopped working, it was like, oh my gosh, my daughter moved out and on her own, and my husband's gone, and I don't have my job. What am I going to do with myself?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's almost like you go through almost like a loss, of having.
Well, yeah, you do. And on top of that, you go through the menopausal actions, which automatically kick in at that age, and it takes you on a whole new level.
Well, I had a hysterectomy when I was 40, and I thought, oh, perfect. I won't have to go through the change. But
you do.
You don't automatically went through change.
You still, your body still goes through the change. Even if
you
don't have those hormones and you don't have anything that is supposed to be changing. Something about just human body, it still goes through something.
Right.
And I still had hot flashes. I still had mood swings. I had everything.
I had raging mood swings. I mean, I would be happy and go lucky, and the next minute I'd be crying and I was upset, and the next minute I'd be angry and yelling, and it's like my kids are like, "Ma, what's wrong with you?" I don't know.
Yeah.
And
I was just gonna say, there were days that my daughter, she could just look at me a certain way, and I would just break down crying, and she'd be like,
Right.
"What is wrong with you?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I'm losing
I
my
know.
mind." You know.
It feels like you are, you know.
feel like
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, because
And
you
before
don't feel
that,
like you have any control. It's just like
no, you don't. No matter
so
what you
out of
try
whack.
no matter what you try to do, you can't control those emotions. I remember sitting on TV watching. There was commercials. They were showing those. I don't know if it was the Valentine's or the Hallmark commercials, and they always broke my heart when I would see them, and I would be crying and sobbing, and my kids would come home from school and they'd be, "Mom, what are you watching? What's got you?" And I'd say, "Oh, it's the commercial," and they'd turn off the TV. Ma, go on your computer for a while, and that's when
Still,
I started getting, trying to get away from having something that would trigger me all the time.
Yeah. I'm glad I
But
don't go through that no more, though. I ain't been through it.
I don't know. I'm glad I'm out of it too.
well,
Me
Yeah.
too.
my daughter and I used to go to the movies a lot. That was like our thing, was to go to the theater, and she would always pick the movie. And I would tell her, now, if it's a love story or a sad story, I'm going to
Yeah, I'm
cry.
gonna
I always
cry.
want. She's like, you'll cry if it's a funny movie. It doesn't matter. You'll cry no
I've
matter
done
what.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Yes.
about how I was too. It was just like something about they turn off the lights and I go to boo-hooing.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Duty. Yeah, I hear you. I see she's live. Okay, I
Yeah,
hate to cut it
I
short.
guess I need to shut it down so we can go listen to what she's got to say. Well,
Yeah, I don't know
Norma,
what's
I'm so
going
glad
on.
you got to come up on panel.
Me too.
I'm going to have a live
Brenda.
next Friday night. I'm having a special guest.
Okay.
Miss Brenda knows him, Rick One Ball.
Oh yes, I know him.
Yes, he is hilarious.
He is. He
Yeah.
is.
And so he's coming on next Friday night at 7:00.
Oh,
So
Okay.
I have a private live scheduled. I'm starting a grief support group for some of the ladies, and that's going to be tomorrow at 2:00. But that's only private, only for the ladies that want to come to that. But then,
Yeah,
and I don't
I
have
saw
any
that.
other lives scheduled yet, but I do have the one on Friday. So
Okay.
maybe we'll be able to get together and do one during the week or something.
Yeah.
We'll see
Sounds
what your
great.
schedule looks like.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Brenda, thank you for coming up.
Thank you so much. It was nice meeting you, Miss Norma. Nice to be
You
able
too,
to put a
Brenda.
face
Yeah,
beside
they're
the
all
name,
very nice,
you
very
know.
nice ladies.
And I'm sure we'll see you
All right.
again,
Thank you,
sweetheart.
everybody.
Okay, take care.
Okay, all right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for coming. Let's see, I have to get off of the full screen, back to my controls if it'll let me.
And I don't know how to get out of here.
There it goes.
I forgot.
Yeah. I'm going to shut it down. I hope, if it lets me end it. All right. Good night, everyone.